Hi, Frank Ray from the Law Office of Jimeno and Gray, here today to talk to you about the 5 keys to a successful family law mediation. If you're watching on YouTube, make sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell as always so you know when we're pushing out more family law content to help you successfully navigate your family law case. All right, we're going to talk about mediation, specifically the 5 keys to successfully mediating your family law case. Number 1, you have to know and express your concerns. Now that sounds easy enough, but it's really the way that you package that. Being successful is expressing a concern. It's not about looking back and trying to cast blame. And let me give you an example. If you believe that your spouse has an alcohol problem or you're concerned about their alcohol use around the kids, you can't say, well, you remember that time when you came home drunk and then that other time, and everything will just evolve. What you have to be able to do is express the concern. You have to be able to say to your wife, Marge, I'm concerned about your drinking and I'm concerned about how that affects the kids. And then let that conversation take place. Let the mediator guide that conversation. Again, what you're doing is you're expressing concern. What you're not doing is pushing blame. Just express the concern. Number 2 is you got to be prepared for mediation. So what does that mean? In the financial context is mainly where this comes in. You have to know what assets are out there. You have to know what the numbers are. If you're going to talk about child support, you have to know your own income. You have to know the health insurance costs for your children. These little details really do matter when it comes to mediation if you're looking to settle your case. So go in prepared. Number 3, I want you to go into mediation knowing the difference between possibilities and probabilities. What does that mean? There are a range of possibilities of things that can happen in your family law case. In negotiating, you can actually go outside the possible things that a court can do. We've talked about that in other videos here on the Family Law channel. But what you also really need to keep your eye on is if you go to court, what are the probabilities? Because sometimes you have to weigh the difference between a slew of possibilities and narrow it down to a few probabilities. And if those probabilities are bothering you, then you have to expand your options and start to think about the possibilities. Number 4, you have to go in with a flexible mindset. There's a classic drill that mediators do in training that'll maybe make this a little easier to understand. On one side, you have a country that needs the orange juice out of an orange. The other country needs the orange peel itself, and you're not allowed to tell each other what you really need or what you need it for. What they have you do is say, you guys are trying to negotiate how to deal with a shipment of oranges. And again, one side's trying to get the juice, the other side is just trying to get the rind or the peel off the orange, but you're not allowed to exactly say it. And the point of that exercise is to train mediators that there can be common ground. It doesn't have to be a zero-sum game. And if your flexibility with the words that you use in the conversation, then you can eventually figure out what that common ground is. And it's really important in mediation that you don't go in with a strong mindset. I have to have this, I have to have that. You have to be flexible. You have to wait and see if the conversation is going to take you there and maybe even drive the conversation there a little bit yourself. Number 5 is selecting an experienced mediator. You have to make sure that you're doing mediation with a mediator that does family law, preferably in the jurisdiction where you're potentially going to be doing your litigation. Results can vary from county to county, from jurisdiction to jurisdiction. And although you could be qualified as a mediator, if you're not a practicing family law lawyer, even though you may know the basics of child custody and what the possibilities are, you're really not going to know the probabilities. And it can be an important part of mediation to be able to bounce ideas off a mediator, someone who's done this for different families countless times, who has the more practical details of how to solve your family's problems. So make sure you pick an experienced mediator. I'm going to throw a link down below to a mediation guide we have about frequently asked questions. Click on it if you need more information. As always, thanks for watching.